بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين. I would like to welcome you back at our second seminar. Second seminar, as the title shows, stress assessment and mitigation and management support system. It is will be delivered by Dr. Said Saad Azhar Ali. A brief bio. Dr. Saad, he received his Bachelor of Engineering degree in Electrical Engineering from NAD University in Pakistan, and the MS and PhD degrees in nonlinear control from King Fahd KFUBM in Dhahran, Saudi Arabia. He was with the Air University and Iqra University prior to being engaged as an associate professor with the Center of Intelligent Signal and Imaging Research at UTB, Malaysia. He is a senior member of IEEE Malaysia chapter and a treasurer of IEEE RAS recently. He has been involved in neurosignal processing research. He has authored over 80 peer-reviewed publications, including 4 books chapters. His research focus has been on neurosignal processing, EEG, neurofeedback, protocols for intelligent control, signal processing, underwater robotics, with emphasis on image enhancement and 3D scene reconstruction. He is the PI for several funded research projects. Let's welcome Dr. Saad. One comment, please, if you can leave the questions towards the end, because this makes it easier for us to keep up the time, okay?
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Obed, and thank you very much for the audience for being here. And as I always say, this is not my first time here. This is my severalth time, including the time when I was very young, school-going kid, and I used to present in the Jamia auditorium from school because I was born here as well. So, okay, thank you very much. The title of my talk is Stress Assessment, Mitigation and Management Support System. Okay, so since the focus of our center has been toward neuroimaging and neural disorders, so the focus of our research also directed towards the mental states and mental disorders. One of them was stress. So stress is a mental state in which the brain forces the body to overdo its limits, and sometimes it is good because it is good to meet the deadlines, it is good to meet the requirements of daily life, but if we overdo it, it is dangerous for both mind and body. So it has been identified as a disorder if it is not treated and addressed timely. So as I said, the brain tries to overdo and emphasizes the body to work extra and to go overboard, so that this way the mind and the body both are under a lot of pressure, which is not good for the brain and the body. Second stage of stress, which I would say if the stress is not addressed at the right time, this goes to do depression. It is coined by major depressive disorder, and this is very serious if it is not addressed. Once again, it could go to harming himself, harming the others, suicide, and every day we see shootings in different countries. They are majorly depressive subjects. The stress could be for several reasons. It could be due to study, research. So students are under stress because of their studies and their grades. So I'm sure most of you understand this. It could be due to work. People working in different environments, different workplaces, they have their own stresses because of their bosses, because of their colleagues, because of the peer pressure. So they are stressed because of these reasons. It could be due to business as well, to meet the deadlines of the clients, to meet the requirements, and then other economic factors. So these factors affect the person and make them stressed. Similarly, so stress squeeze the brain to do more, and for a longer run it is drastically affect the capability and productivity of a person. So for a short time it's okay, but if it is prolonged, it is very dangerous and it needs to be addressed. The effects of stress on health, I would say the whole body, and under different studies they have shown that they are harmful on different organs and different systems, like including the brain, skin, cardiovascular, joints, muscle, immune system, gut, reproductive system. All of them get affected because of stress, which seems very small, that if a person is stressed looks like a short term thing, but if it's not addressed properly, they are very harmful and they affect the whole body. Okay, how is stress assessed? First of all, let me highlight that if I ask you or some people, are you stressed? Probably the answer would be no, I am not stressed. They would try to say deny it. So the first thing is the admission that okay, I am stressed, I am getting stressed with the work, with the study, with everything. So the first thing is there is a complete denial by the subjects that I am stressed because of family, because of something. They say no, I am okay, but they are not okay, they need to be addressed because of different things. So normally it is assessed under conventional clinical assessment, in which a clinician or psychiatrist asks questions. So when we say to someone to go to a psychiatrist, he would say no, I'm not going, because I'm not a psycho or something. So this is the first thing. Okay, this has been the classical approaches, and on top of that are the modern day approaches, which is including the EEG, the FNIRS, and different physiological signals from the brain. Alright, so conventional assessment are based on subjective assessment by the clinician. They normally have some questionnaires, they talk to the person, they talk to the subject that okay about the condition, about the life and all those things, and if the subject is trying to avoid the situation, because sometimes this assessment is forced by the employer, okay, go take this assessment, and to avoid the circumstances, the subject would want to avoid or dodge the questions or the psychiatrist, and there have been certain studies, some of them these are some questions. So if you see this question could easily be avoided or dodged, because they have to answer between 0 or 4 or something like that, and at the end they will get a score. If the score is between this range and this range, he is okay, between this and this he is like moderately stressed or highly stressed. So those who want to avoid it or like dodge it, they can easily dodge it, they will be answering it wrong. Okay, these are the ranges. So 0 to 13 is low stress, 14 to 26 is and like that. So the classical approaches in which a subject is going to a psychiatrist or someone, these tests can be dodged, but the modern assessment using computer aided diagnosis, including the signals from the brain that it could be collected from the EEG or the FNIRS or the MRIs or so many other approaches, the subject is difficult to dodge the system now, because it is coming from the brain. He cannot lie or something like that, he cannot lie in the brain. So they take it from the brain directly, such as EEG, MRI, fMRI, PET, MEG, it should be the other order, but yeah, FNIRS. So these techniques have been used. What we have used in our research and we are using for our research is the EEG, because of so many reasons. This is the easiest in a way that it is easily say set up. It is sort of portable as well, not very high in cost, and very easy to integrate with the computer based systems. So we have used, and this is non-invasive as well. So we have used EEG for this research for stress assessment and mitigation. Okay, this is what an EEG looks like. This is a random, completely random signal, and this is collected from this space, normally 1020, like 1020 is the configuration, and this is the front part of the brain, and this is the back part. So this is the frontal, and this is the occipital, which is like this. For stress, normally these regions are important, the frontal, so we will be focusing more on these regions. The thing is that this data is nothing. From this data we cannot get much information, you know. If we just use this EEG directly in some system, it would be difficult to get some information. So recording stress in real life routine is challenging because of so many other things, of the movements, of the bodily movement as well, and then thinking different things. Even the eye blink could change the signals. So this is very so vulnerable in terms of measurement and data acquisition. So for experiment purposes, we need to put them in a relaxed state in a particular setup so that we can record the signals. One thing. Otherwise, you can see these are all artifacts. These artifacts could be because of eye blink, because of the head movement, because of some phone ringing nearby. This could be disturbed. So the computer aided techniques also get affected by these different artifacts, these different disturbances. So even if we have some computer aided approach, we have to get rid or like address these artifacts. What happens is these are the artifacts, and normal approaches for AI and machine learning approaches, what they do is they select them either manually or semi-automatically or some automatic approaches as well, and they tend to remove the whole chunk. They just so this is done offline, of course. So they just do not consider this thing in which the information is lost. So I'll tell you why this information is important, but this information is lost so because of these cut out sections. Okay, so actually I'm going towards what we are doing. So one thing is we are taking care of artifacts in our approach later on, and what we are using is we are using the alpha asymmetry. Alpha asymmetry is based on as I just showed you before, FP1 and FP2, these two signals from these regions, and it is shown in literature that these two are associated together with each other in a way that it can indicate the stress levels. And I did not show the papers here, but it is shown that alpha asymmetry, in which the difference of these, like I'll show you one in a topo map as well. So if this section is high, this means that the subject is relaxed. If this section is high, the subject is under stress, and this is like normal subjects. Normal it's like some subjects are opposite as well, so we consider them opposite, so we take the lower values, otherwise high values of the alpha asymmetry. So what we do is we are taking alpha asymmetry as our say indicator for stress. This subject looks like say relaxed because this portion is high and this portion is low, and there is a measure in which FP1 minus FP2 upon FP1 plus FP2 in terms of energies are considered. So this is our say the label, I would say the label for the data. So as I said, so this person is stressed and this is non-stress. This is a very good control subject in which he is completely relaxed. So our target is to move this person's brain into this form. When we are talking about assessment, so this is assessed as a stressed person, and when we do the intervention or mitigation, we will be trying to have the brain looking from this to looking in this shape in which this portion is high. Okay. Treatments, there are different treatments including the classical one, cognitive behavior therapy, interpersonal behavior. So these are all based on subjective between the subject and the practitioner. So the subject has to be in front of the clinician or the psychiatrist in which he has to deal with him. Some are independent as well, but like majority of them are based on the clinician there, which results in a high cost because these are very expensive treatments. All right. Then the treatments for depression in terms of antidepressants, which of course have side effects, which of course have the problem of efficacy as well. Efficacy in a way that once the subject agreed, okay, let's admit that, okay, I'm stressed or depressed, he goes to the psychiatrist. The psychiatrist writes some medication to him. He starts taking the medication, and after 4 weeks he asked him to come back. Okay, during these 4 weeks it is not necessary, and it is proven that half of the time the medication doesn't work. If it's working, okay, well and good, fine. But if it's not working, the subject who was already stressed or depressed, he gets agitated and sometimes withdraws the treatment, which is again very dangerous. We want this to retain the treatment so that if he has these problems, he should not harm himself or the other or the society. So if the efficacy is not proven for that particular medication for the subject, he will withdraw the treatment, which is again very wrong. So two things are the side effects. If you open the list, there are a number of side effects, as it is with the Panadol as well, by the way, have side effects, but these have major side effects, plus treatment withdrawal. Recently, not recently, but people have used neurofeedback based treatment. So this is almost without medication, and it is a self-regulation technique in which the person tries to control himself, and he tries to train himself to control the stress. It is like this. It's a modality to train the brain to improve the brain function. It is not used only for stress, but for different approaches, for focus, for even dance as well, for aerobatics, for performance enhancement, so many things. One of them is stress mitigation. So it is about learning how to alter my own brain without any medication, without any person involved later on. The person tries, using this system, tries to learn to train the brain how to handle a particular situation. So what he does, that the system will tell him, okay, right now you are stressed or not stressed in some manner, maybe some signal, maybe some stimulus, something. He will know that, okay, right now I am stressed. So he will do something. Again, this something is again subjective. It is based on that particular subject. Maybe sometimes breathing helps, sometimes closing the eyes helps. That depends on the subject, and the operator will tell him some techniques. And again, it is non-invasive completely, and he has to do to his own brain. So it's upon his own will that if he is trying to control the brain for stress mitigation. This is a training. When the training is done, or while he is training and he goes to real life or actual life, when he says himself says stressed, he uses the training that he did there, like breathing or eyes closed, something, and then he tries to control the brain. So it is like all self-control, but a training that, okay, now you are stressed, you have to control yourself, you have to relax, you have to like calm down, and all those things. It's painless and non-invasive. So this is what's happening, that the subject is shown some content, or like maybe some hearing or vision or something, maybe a video, maybe a game. Normally we use games, so let me take the example of a game that he's shown a game to him, and the trigger is only generated when the person is relaxed. So suppose he's trying to catch a fish, so he will throw the hook only if the relaxed state is there, otherwise he will not be able to throw the hook. So when the brain EEG signals are recorded and it is processing, and it sees that alpha asymmetry is meeting the threshold, the trigger is generated. So this way he knows that right now I am stressed, because that's why it is not happening. So he has to do some exercise. He does it. Once he does it, he will be given the trigger, in which he will be able to like control the speed of the game, or the car racing or shooting or like picking up something. He will only so actually he is rewarded. He is rewarded to control the brain, right? So This is happening by, we record the brain signals, we do the processing, we check the threshold. This is very easily and simplified form of explanation, although of course there are different algorithms inside, but that is controlling the content that is shown to the subject. So he is rewarded whenever he is able to be relaxed, he is able to relax his brain, it is rewarded, otherwise it will continue to have a rewardless feedback. So this is a feedback. Since I am from control background, this attracted me because it has a feedback control system. It's like that. Alright, so it's a self-regulating technique, specific brain activity. So this has been used for some time, and this we tried for the last 2 years, and we successfully enhanced the content. Previously it was just a generic game, but what we noticed that the similar game was not working for all the subjects. We found out that a similar game which was like effective for one person was not effective for the other one. So we did a study, and we collected what are the factors, including the colors, the sound, the environment, and so many other things. And in the initial baseline data collection, we collected this information and we suggested, okay, this type of color, this type of sound, this type of game, this type of environment would be suitable for this person. We could do it adaptively as well, but this is what we did, that we selected those things from the baseline. So we kept changing the colors, we kept changing the environment, the sound, and we used those for that content, for that subject, and we found out that it was quite effective. Alright, this is again an explanation of what we are doing. So brain, we are taking the signal. So this is one game that we developed after considering all the factors. Previously the default games were fishing, or a hen was picking up the feed, but it was not effective for everyone. But this one proved to be effective for those who were falling under this category. Alright, so this is what we have done in the last 2 years, that we enhanced the content, and we were successfully able to improve the efficacy of neurofeedback treatment. Alright, conventional problems that we faced during this study was, of course, that it is expensive and time costly, and it is not generic. We were using the threshold of alpha asymmetry as this threshold here. We have to tune this a lot for a subject during the sessions as well. Like initially when he was not trained, we have to make it low so that he is able to meet the threshold, and slowly we have to change and this and that. So this was very much human interaction inside here. This threshold was set manually, and this was because the signals that were generated were again raw, and they were not able to capture the features that could be useful for stress assessment. So the stress assessment was based on just this threshold, and not on the features that could have been selected from the EEG signal. Alright, so it was not generic, it was different for each subject, and each subject had a different threshold even during the sessions as well. Anything that I missed? Yeah. The current approaches in which the features were used, or the supervised supervised classification was used, was not possible to be used in a real-time system, because real-time system needs instant decision, so that we can make the speed to go up or down and all that. So okay, so we looked for these approaches like medical application and AI, what people have used, different ones. So AI was used, and we found out that okay, there are approaches available in which we can get high accuracy of stress assessment, but they were not suitable for real-time application because they were taking a longer time. So these approaches, very common these days. So the problem was in the data usage. If we try to make it real time and we do the stress assessment in real time with features and everything, it was taking a long time. Without the pre-processing part, it was just garbage in and garbage. It was not giving us the right decision, right assessment for the stress. So what we did, we started thinking about deep learning, in which it was automatically extracting the features, and it was more or less automatic and quite more generic than the other approaches. And we started to use deep learning approach, although the data was a problem, but we managed to get good enough data. Yeah, okay, these are the normal, so we are using alpha asymmetry for still, yeah. So this is a normal routine that we take the raw EEG signals, pre-processing, cleaning, and then band extraction, feature extraction, and then classification, which proved that we cannot use it for real-time application. It was taking more than 6-7 seconds to give one assessment in real time. So we used deep learning, in which these steps were skipped, and we just filtered the band. We just needed alpha basically because of alpha symmetry, but we collected the whole information, and this was doing the classification. This resulted in a very efficient timing ones that those were taking 6 seconds and like more. This was done in 0.6 seconds, so which was good enough because we needed the decision in just 1 second so that it can make an action on that. And we had this with good accuracy as well. We got it about 95% accuracy and good specificity and accuracy as well. All right. So what we were able to achieve that we make him sit, and the practitioner can tell him. So, like while he's asking questions, this was also done. So that to verify, okay, that these signals. So this is what we did. We went to the clinicians and he was asking questions, and this was also recorded, and this way the psychiatrist said that he was not able to dodge the system because he was like giving right answers, and the right assessment work was also done. Okay, so once we did the neurofeedback, the deep learning based assessment on top of the neurofeedback, we wanted to go further. We wanted to include the deep learning based stress assessment in the neurofeedback, plus the contents were also enhanced. So we then we thought to further enhance the content as well. So we are looking for a very enhanced content, very enhanced stress assessment, plus some management techniques as well. Okay, for that we explored that which area should we go for, and because of the funding availability and the requirement by different funding agencies and the university collaboration, we found out that one university, OPSI, I did not mention in the beginning, by the way, this is this research is sort of supported by many universities and agencies. So one of them is of course King Abdulaziz University, UTP, Iqra University, University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, and USM. So all of these are partners for this particular research. So one focus area that we found out was preschool teachers. The OPSI, University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, has a National Child Development Research Center, in which they also focus on the child education and preschool education, the curriculum development, and also on the teachers as well. We met them and we found out that yes, they have different things for child development and education and curriculum development, but not for the teachers for this particular scenario. We had a survey with them. We found out that the preschool teachers are very stressed actually. So we started this research with them, stress management support system for preschool teachers using EEG based neurofeedback with virtual reality as well. So the preschool teacher, let me just introduce this one. How prevalent is stress among preschool teachers? This is under different, teaching professions experience high level of occupational stress under different researches. Prevalent towards occupational stress, anxiety, depression. High level of stress when teaching younger students, which is normally ignored. They think that they are sitting with cute kids. They're not so very cute actually. And 6 to 36% meet clinical cutoff for depression as well. So this is getting dangerous because they are ignored in a way that they think that this is a small job, which is one of the observations later on. The duties that they do is assessing the students, organizing activities, storytelling, teaching, planning and management. These are multi-dimensional things that they are doing, which actually normally teachers does as well, but they are doing with small kids who do not sometimes comply with what you want. They just want their own will to be like. They plan lessons, organize activities, develop curriculums, manage extracurricular activities, supervise classes, provide information, maintain discipline, provide cover for teachers' shortage and absences, maintain records, administer timetables, evaluate and assess students' performance in addition to motivation of students by words and actions, plus the pressure from the parents as well. So they are very much stressed. The sources of stress, so many. This is true for, by the way, us teachers as well. Heavy workloads, social emotional learning environment, disciplinary and motivational role model, teacher-children relationship, interpersonal relationship, time constraint, high professional demand, and all this. So these are sources of stress, which is also with the preschool teacher, which is normal with anyone, but they are also there for preschool teachers. Okay. Despite the adversities, preschool teachers strive to maintain quality in teaching young children. Work that involves children are often deemed adorable. As I said, they think that this is very cute, but it's not actually. There are times when the stress level is quite high, so this is where we can test our patience. One other quote was, many assume that working as a preschool teacher is easy, but they don't know children these days are not like those in previous days. True. People like to look down on teachers like us. This is one very serious comment. The truth is, teaching even one alphabet is difficult. I have been a teacher last maybe 20 years or something. I cannot teach a preschool kid for sure, because they are on their own mood and all. I can teach maybe high school and above, but I cannot teach those kids for sure. So these things are prevalently like dominant in preschool teaching profession. The effects, same as other things, that physical health deterioration, daily life activities get suffered, emotional exhaustion, demotivation, burnout cycle, increased teacher turnover, and so many other say side effects of stress. And these, by the way, are results from papers on teachers and preschool teachers. These are all papers related to teachers and preschool teachers. So what we thought of that, okay, why not provide a stress management support system? This is a name that we coined later on. We asked the university and different institutes, do they have a support system for the teachers to cope up with these situations? Generally, no. They only have like maybe once in a year say retreat or some team building activity or something, which is they have to plan themselves as well. So the activity which was supposed to relax the teachers have to plan themselves as well. Okay, you do the planning, the location, everything. So there was no such support. Some activities at different institutes, but not a support system. I think I can skip this one. So this will be an amalgam of the neurofeedback, deep learning based stress assessment, and VR. So I'll skip this portion. This is what we did. Just to highlight, these are the features extracted using deep artificial intelligence. Is it? No. We found out that if we apply, this is out of place, but when we apply intelligent techniques on the batch, we were losing so many features, and if we tried to minimize the window size, we were requiring more time, so we were not able to suggest one technique that is time efficient as well as features are not lost. So this is what we have, real-time stress assessment, neurofeedback using VR. We were making game-based and event-based resilience strengthening under the VR environment. What we suggested to them, that what if we try to provide a scenario in which the teacher thinks that he is in a class, and we test him, or we offer him with the same challenges as he faces during a class, like a kid cranking up for some tantrum, or the boss coming up in the class, or a parent coming in, or something. So all those scenarios. During the class, of course, he or she has to do extra control because he is in the real environment. Here he can do the real thing. Okay, I want to slap that kid maybe sometimes, but here he can do it, but there he cannot. So we want to give them the support. Okay, this is what is happening with you, that when you are angry, this is recorded as a stress situation for you, so you have to control this situation and all these things. So we wanted to give this environment to them. So why VR? It is like 3D interactive, and it is immersive, and you can feel the presence in that particular environment. I was testing it with my son, and he was like in the environment, and there was a table there, and the ball sort of bounced on the table and fell on there. So he was trying to put his hand like this and to go there, and he fell down because it was so realistic. So it is very realistic, and it can simulate or emulate a real environment. We are using HTC Vive, which is a very basic one. We can go for advanced ones as well. This is cheap for games, but we managed to do it for this research. All these things are available. The requirement is like we need those kit, we need a room for that, and we need the user itself, and on top of that we would be limiting the movement because of the EEG recording. We have the wireless one, but the movement was showing more problematic, so we are limiting the movement. So can I play this? This is the VR for the child, for autistic children. So they made this for autistic, they're not biased, by the way. This is available from the internet. So this child is wearing this kit, and he is feeling himself in the classroom and getting distracted and all. So what we thought, why not put the goggle on that side from the teacher's side. This is what we are focusing and trying to do, that we will be placing the VR environment for the teacher. Okay. It has been proven that it has like different applications for the children healthcare, motor rehabilitation, and mental health. So it has been used for different application in medicine. So we thought, why not we use it for stress assessment. It's just, you know, all the reasons for using the virtual reality. So and this has been used for social skill training for autism, and not this is what we want. This is what we want to build in, that okay, the teacher is looking at the class, and there is a kid and who is like doing, not following the instructions or something, making the teacher stressed and all. Children behavior, this has been done for different applications, like examples of VR for colleague meeting. So this could be the meeting for. So what we are proposing is that we make a neurofeedback based system in which we use VR, in which we are recording the brain activity, in which we are trying to see if we are able to assess the stress, if we are able to do the mitigation, plus resilience management, like what happens if in real life, what will the teacher be doing. So the environment will be in a way that it will train the teacher, and the teacher will be going through these modules under the instruction by the university, or maybe self-willing as well. And when those And when those situations happen in real life, he would be able to well manage or well address the situation. So I conclude the presentation here, and this is the code that motivated us. She's supporting them. Who's supporting her? This is the teacher, by the way. So if there is any question, I would be.
Please, if you want to ask questions, then let's use the microphone here. Questions from audience? Yes.
You said that you select the contents for different subjects. How do you select for a given subject who is already stressed that what contents would be better for him or her?
Okay. What we are doing is we are doing a baseline test, maybe say 20 minutes data recording, in which we show them different contents. We show them different things, different audio, video, different colors, different environments, and we see which one is more responsive to the brain. So we found out that it is possible that he is reacting to this color in a better way compared to other colors. This environment, maybe some sea or some water flowing or something, he's like more responsive to that. So we selected those contents for the content to be developed later on. Like the car racing game, the younger ones were more reactive to those car racing games compared to the older ones who were like more responsive to a flow of water or sky or bird chirping, like that. So this is how we set. So it was based on the EEG signals as well. Plus we got some data. Okay, which one do you prefer? That also helped.
Okay, how do you categorize being more responsive?
The stress levels.
It could be negative response also. Means if person is already stressed and you show him or her some content, and there is, instead of what should I say, as a positive reaction, there is a negative reaction.
We will not show him later on. We will not show those contents in the real training. This is the baseline only.
No, but how will you know that the subject is now reacting to these contents in a negative way?
Okay. Once again, when we are showing the contents, we are just showing it in the beginning without asking him to do anything.
Okay.
During those sessions, when we are changing the content, when it was, suppose a boy who likes games, for example, we found out that for chirping birds, nothing happened with the brain. It was normal. But when it was game, he got excited, and it was in a relaxed way excited. Like alpha symmetry was like in a better way, responding better way. Alpha symmetry is our measure actually. So like for the older person, the chirping bird was say more than effective. Like he was very happy. He got relaxed when it was there. But with the car, he got a bit agitated. So we did not select that content for that older person. This was the criteria that we did.
There is another thing is, for example, for the children, okay, we can expect that their response is a natural response, but for a grown-up, so it could be that his or her stress is because of some reason or something that he or she is trying to really hide.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are showing him or her some content which you feel that it should be, he or she should be, the subject should be responding in a better way, it could be in a totally different way.
True, that's what I said. We are not asking him to do anything, and we are not forcing anything. We're just recording the brain signals. When we saw that, okay, this content is suitable for him. Suitable means that when we show that content, the stress level reduced automatically.
So that's what I want to ask. How do you quantify
alpha asymmetry?
So it is just asymmetry.
Yes.
So it is the activity.
Yes.
Okay. So now here is my question.
Okay.
Is how do you see, there is asymmetry, fine. How do you see that this asymmetry is positive or it is negative?
Because the levels like grow or reduce. Alpha asymmetry is a number actually.
Yeah, this is a number.
Is a number. So if it is growing.
Okay. If you just go back, my thing is, there is a grown up, he has a certain reason in the back of mind, and the subject is not really ready to reveal that reason.
Okay.
So maybe think that you feel, okay, or maybe
True.
the numbers they show is a different thing.
True.
But actually it could be totally
That's true. That's true. If he's trying to like again dodge the system, it will be difficult. So this is what I suggested at the end of the research, that we make it adaptive. So if maybe at that time he was responding to that one particularly, but when we actually had the sessions with the training, not responding, we can change it during the session as well. So that's the first thing, that we want to make sure that the subject is ready to be treated. If it's ready to be treated, then he is relaxed in the beginning. We asked him to relax for like 5 minutes, do nothing, just relax, and then we show the content. This is how we do the eyes open, eyes closed session, in which we just ask him to relax, sit back, and just look at the content. We record the activity, and with that activity we see, okay, this is like more helpful or supportive, otherwise not. And later on, so far we have not done it yet to make it adaptive, but we can make it adaptive as well. We can change the content completely for a particular subject.
Thank you very much for very informative talk. Can you
Pleasure.
elaborate more on that stress management, stress measurement with the professional sitting there and interviewing? But you said that we were collecting data, brain
Something
signal
like-
data, yeah, a little bit, yeah. Because I'm interested to know how, if you could
Okay.
find that.
Something like this one?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Conventionally or classically, it is done without EEG recording. So he's asking questions, and he's like filling up a questionnaire and all that. So if the subject is trying to dodge the system, he will be dodging the questions in a way that, okay. But with now, he will be asking questions, plus he's also recording the EEG as well. So he has gotten he's getting a supportive signal from the, okay, just like the lie detector thing. Lie detector, when we lie, we have the tap like this, so something like that. So this is something that we can use with the clinician, and he said, okay, it was useful that whenever we were assessing him as stress, it was actually stressed there as well. So this was the main point of this particular slide. We were like comparing the results of the clinician and the assessment system.
So extending this, we could say that we give him that whatever assessment
questionnaire.
recorded the EEG, and say, this guy is dodging this question, is dodging that.
Not particular in terms of question, because it's not a lie detector thing, but in terms of stress level, yes, we were able to detect if he's stressed or not.
Thank you.
Yeah.
like he's combining with this one before you have.
Can I have a question also?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much for a nice presentation, sir.
Pleasure.
Sometimes it appears that these techniques are basically self-bluffing. I mean, if a person is stressed because of his aging, I remember one of my colleagues, every passing day he was stressed that I'm getting old. How can you solve it? He will be aging anyway.
True. To be fair, we are not the psychologists or psychiatrists. We are providing a support system. The actual clinician or psychiatrist can use these systems. So again, we will leave the job for the expert. We were just providing the support for the psychologist. So solutions for that could be in their hands. But
Still, for example, if somebody has lost his mother and he is very stressed because of this death, doesn't matter how much you say or do, the mother is dead anyway.
Yeah.
As soon as he becomes insensitive.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
So
we
they
can
give
say-
them medicines and other things to just bluff them for some time, but still it comes back.
This is why it is, this neurofeedback is self-regulating system. So if he is ready to be treated, he will go through this training, and he will have some sessions. Okay, so whenever I feel stressed, whenever I feel, okay, yes, my mother is lost, and because of that I am going to do something wrong or something bad, so he will use that training, practice in real life, so that this is something that we can do. Otherwise, once again, as you said, what can we do?
So you
So
see,
there's something that we can do.
in the West, I asked people this question, and they said now they are turning to a religion, because religion is the only way. If you believe in somebody higher than you,
True.
probably there is no stress anyway.
True.
So
One of-
maybe we don't medication. These things can be for smaller issues, but not for the major things in life.
the thing that you mentioned about the techniques to control the brain, one of them is Quran recitation. We have used it and it was very helpful. Quran recitation was very helpful in controlling the stress. The person got unstressed, relaxed when we. So this is one thing that for sure this has been used very frequently by the clinicians. They use religion, they use Quran recitation very effectively. True.
And that's what they were saying, that people in the West who have everything are more stressed than the people in our countries where we have nothing,
Yeah.
but still the stress level is very low.
More things, more stress.
Yes.
You know, losing your mother can't help you. Losing your wife you can.
Okay, thank you.
If she's rich.
Any more questions? But maybe I'll just make one comment here actually.
Okay.
Ahmed has a question.
Yeah, but I will make one comment here. I think also it depends on what types of stress that you're. I mean, at the beginning you mentioned even for the
Students, workplace.
for the schools, for preschoolers, preschool teachers. So you are really looking at a certain type of stress.
Yes.
Work type of stress.
Yes.
And then what the doctor has mentioned is other levels
Yes,
actually. So
yeah.
I think there are different layers. You know, and what I suggest is that one thing that we should do is that your questionnaire we should really distribute it to the audience, and then actually you will be really surprised actually. Yeah, I think there is a question.
Just comment.
Yeah, okay, maybe then you can give it to Ahmed.
By the way, means how do you differentiate that it is a state of stress or it is already a disorder?
Stress is
Disorder,
not.
It is
Stress-
already, if it is already a disorder, then every
finished.
parameter, everything, all the indicators, they will be wrong.
That's why we are taking the data from all the bands at all the locations. For depressed person, there are different measures. So we are also measuring that in the site. Right now, we are taking stressed those subjects who are under treatment of stress by psychologists. So we trust the clinician's decision that okay, right now he's just stressed, not depressed. For other study that we did with Dr. Moin as well, those were depressed patients. So those have different biomarkers. We use some wavelet coefficients and all to see if this person is actually depressed or not, and that particular
That
medication.
means the depressed state is still a normal state. Normal in the sense means the man is in senses. I'm talking about something beyond that one.
Like major depressive disorder is like the ultimate stage.
It has now become a sort of permanent disorder, something like that.
Okay.
So then the indicators, they are totally different.
Of course, this is for stress only.
But-
This study
but
was for
those
stress.
even those type of people, sometimes they
Can-
look very normal. They look very normal, but although in
That's the danger
they are
actually.
already- they are
That's the
already-
danger. That's the
they're
danger
already
that we
damaged.
have to identify, and for that the family is the one who should be the one identifying those individuals. True. This is only if the subject is ready to get treated by a psychiatrist or maybe forced by the employer to go to the psychiatrist. This is only for stress. Under different conditions, we'll have different features, different biomarkers. Yes.
It's not a solution for all.
No. This is not one point solution. No. Yes.
First of all, thank you very much for
You're
this.
welcome. Pleasure.
I have a question that the first thing I noticed that this is a system to help psychology doctors to help the patient. So my question is, this system can differentiate between a chronic stressed person with a real damage, like exceeded the psychology to the physiology part of his body, with panic attacks and stuff like that, or just temporary stress.
Okay.
This
Okay. This is like based on real-time stress levels, but another guy is working on stress levels quantification, like relaxed, mildly stressed, moderately stressed. One is severe and one other. So have 5 levels. So that study is also done at our center, in which it can classify all those subjects as well. This is for like normally stressed persons, maybe workplace stress, and they are not under disorder. They are just normally stressed. They are normal person like us. So this is for that. But
Normal?
I would not say anything on that. But I don't say, yeah. So yes, we have different studies for that.
Okay, any more questions? Just, just
Sure.
something came to my mind when you were talking about preschool teachers actually. And of course you want to, they have a lot of pressures. And of course you show them something, and just something came to my mind that maybe part of the release of the pressure is that if they try to hit the kids and hit the parents in this
Yes.
pressure, which is not really, but
Yes.
maybe it's a way that they release their pressure in
Yes.
a sense, and maybe they feel relaxed. I don't know, maybe if you say something.
Yes, actually you're right. That's why.
Goes to kill and multiplies the stress with 100 times.
No, but sometimes actually, some people actually, they do this violent act.
Yes.
Them, yeah. Just
So
like
they can take out their stress on this system, like
Yes,
okay, do
rather
it
than
here.
on the
Yes.
poor kids,
Yes, I remember that when I was doing my masters, I got some stress relief software in which the mouse becomes a hammer, and you can start hitting the screen, and it breaks the screen, touch, like this. So this is possible, but of course we will be taking advice from psychiatrists and psychologists that what would be the suitable way to relieve their stress. We have to get ethics approval from them.
Yes, yeah, but
So you're right about that.
as you mentioned, the game
sometimes-
actually, it's just a way just
Sometimes if you are driving a car and sometimes you see that this guy is just overtaking wrong side, just hit this guy, like that. This comes to my mind, of course, many times,
yeah.
and my wife stops me from doing that.
In the train, they have how to relieve the stress
Yes,
from their parents,
From
their
yes,
culture.
Okay, any more questions? So when we'll get the survey, I think it's good to.
I have it with me. I have it
No,
with
but
me.
I'm just. I think there is a lot of stress. We can feel it. I can feel it among our colleagues and their behavior and their. Sometimes actually, unfortunately, it is a stress imposed with no reason actually.
Yeah.
Sometimes actually, some of the pressures that are imposed, like
There are reasons if
Ah.
it is 2 o'clock in the night and you call.
don't call anybody actually.
Is Dr. Abel putting on the stress?
So basically, actually, sometimes actually,
To answer your question, actually, we so selected these because they are also a center for this research. So we could have gone with UTP lecturer as well, or your lecturer as well, but what would be your interest? Because you will be treating them as assessing the employees. For them, it is sort of part of a research as well. So to collect the data was much easier further because they were part of research. So if I ask you that I want to do this here, your faculty would be saying no because they don't want to show their stress against you or the university or center maybe, but they are part of research. That's why we chose that particular field of research. Yeah.
But also regarding even when you make the model using deep learning, you see the subjects are different. So if you use females, maybe different from males. If you use like like these teachers, is
Yeah.
not like professors actually in university. So the data is really, maybe there's a lot of differences in the data because of different type of education, job type, ethnic origin,
True.
education, whatever, all of these.
True. That's why previously when we were using alpha symmetry as a measure only, it was not useful. We believe that deep learning will be taking the features, will be capturing the features that can so as long as alpha asymmetry is a valid point or a valid measure, we can still say okay, deep learning will be able to capture somehow some of them, but of course we need more and more data, more and more data.
And actually, I remember in Khalifa University we have another system. I think it's used. They have some relation with the Korean university. What's the name? KAIST. To measure the stress, I think in nuclear plants. When the operators or something, they are on a certain stress level, they want them to to leave. But they're using they're using also the cameras and these things to do this.
Not only EEG.
Yeah, not only he. But the point is that the point to be mentioned, maybe Koreans are not like Arabs, for example, or they're different.
They're different people, yeah.
And these things has to be.
That depends on the data, how much the data is,
Yes.
and what is the base.
Actually, you see, in doing any action, there is definitely stress. In any action, whatever it is, small,
No, not necessarily. But it's
whenever
very-
there is an action, there is a stimulus and there is a stress. So we have to differentiate between what is the normal level of stress that we go through in every work, normal work, and what is beyond that.
Yeah.
So,
This is what Prof is saying, that maybe he's talking about the mental stress that goes to depression. That's true, that is not there, but stress is there. But
Part of life.
yes, if you're driving the car in the on traffic road, that stresses you, and even if something is wrong, that stresses you as well. So every action has some level of stress, but not the level of stress that we're talking about as a disorder. That's
I think stress is perception, how we look at things. The same thing might put you in stress and not put me in stress.
true.
So, I mean, we need to, it's complicated.
Okay.
this is also stress. I'm putting this pen on this one, so this pen is exerting the stress on this table, isn't it? But instead of this one, if you put 2 tons on this table, so will it be the same?
Okay. Okay. So let's go back. Any more questions, please? Any more questions? Okay. We'd like to thank.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Very much.
What is the good thing about comment? What is the good thing about this presentation? No equation.
Yeah, I keep it generic so that
This has created a lot of stress.
less stress.
Depends how you look at things.
Actually, Doctor, I wanted to know about this one because I've been diagnosed with a stressor that I have a chronic.
Okay.
That's why I was interested.
Okay.
I have something like panic attacks.
Okay.
Driving. Something like a heart attack.
Like pumping heart, like.
And I feel losing
Okay.
So I went to the ER several times. This has happened over 6 or 7 years.
Oh.
These attacks come once or twice a year. Okay. When I go there, they use the EEG for, not for my brain, for my cardiac heart, because they think this is a